This is Cody, and you are tuned in to B-Boy 45, broadcasting from the Seacrest Studios. We have another special edition of the latest news to keep you in the groove with our friend Maya. Maya, who's on the line today?
Adam Kaplan.
Adam Kaplan, welcome. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm better now that I've gotten that applause.
Oh, they're still going. I just had to...
Please keep it going. Keep it going. There we go.
All right. Well, Maya, take it away, girl.
Okay. So first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for calling in. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to meet you.
So my first question for you is, when was the moment that you first knew you wanted to be an actor?
So the moment I knew that I first wanted to be an actor was when I was 6 years old, and my dad took me to see our local high school production of West Side Story. And he had been in West Side Story when he was in high school and fell in love with theater. And so when I was 6 years old, I was sitting in the audience and I was looking up at the stage and I said, I want to do that. And I feel like since then, that's all I've ever really wanted to do. That's all I've ever loved doing. And that put me on the path to where I am today.
Oh, cool. So you've been on Broadway, and I was wondering, what was the most overwhelming part of being in a live performance?
I think probably what's most challenging about being on Broadway is doing 8 shows a week. And even now thinking about it, it just makes me tired because I'm like, okay, I got to get up every morning. Everything, the rest of that day becomes about the show. So I have to make sure that I'm going to the gym and that I'm eating healthy and that I'm drinking enough water and making sure I'm getting enough sleep. And then you do the show that night. And then I feel like for the next week, it all just becomes about the show. So doing 8 shows a week over and over again, I think is probably what's probably most exhausting. But at the same time, I don't think that there's anything that's as exciting as being in front of an audience and having that live theater experience.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah. What is your favorite Broadway show?
That's a tough one. I think my favorite, oh, Maya, you're putting me on the spot. I love the show Gypsy. It's a classic. But something that's more recent that I've loved, I don't know. I'm a sucker for Wicked. Do you have a favorite music theater soundtrack, a favorite Broadway show?
Yeah, Spring Awakening.
Oh, I love Spring Awakening. I love
I've always loved musical theater, but just over quarantine, I just became obsessed. I've since March 2020, I've had the Spring Awakening soundtrack just on a loop, basically.
When I was in college, I saw Spring Awakening, and Melchior is also a dream role that I've always wanted to do.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I drove my mom and my sister a little bit crazy just having that on 24/7.
But if they have to listen to something, at least it's good music, right?
Yeah. My mom told me that's exactly how she was when she was younger. She had her favorite Broadway soundtracks that she just listened to all the time. So
it's when you get stuck on a show and when you're in love with the music, you just got to listen to it over and over again. Sorry, Mom.
Yeah. So is there a Broadway show that you hope comes back and would love to be a part of?
that I hope that comes back. Well, Newsies was the show that I made my Broadway debut with, and I think I'm getting a little too old to be a newsboy again. But I feel like a show that would. Did I freeze? Are we okay?
Now you're back.
Okay, good. So Newsies is a show that I would love to see again on Broadway because I think it's just so much fun. But I've always, because it's the show that made me want to be an actor, I've always wanted to be Tony in West Side Story. So I hope that I have an opportunity to do that.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So you play Simon in the new show, The Big Leap, which I love. And I love it. And I'm like totally sucked in. So I'm always bummed when like the episode ends and I'm like, oh, we have to wait a week for a new one.
You and me both. Every time, and that happened with the cast too. Anytime we would get a new script, by the end of it, we were like, oh God, I just want to know what happens next. I want to know what happens next. So I'm so glad that you feel the same way watching it as what we do filming it.
Yeah. So I was wondering, what is your favorite part about working on this show?
I think my favorite part about working on this show is how much of an ensemble and how much of a group effort it feels. And in that way, it kind of reminds me what it's like to put on a theater show. The fact that it takes a village of choreographers, of costumers, of directors, of actors, dancers. It really does feel like a family. And what I love about the show is that it really is an ensemble cast because, you know, I'm looking at the picture behind you and there's so many people, right? It's such a big cast, but what it really does so beautifully is that it does celebrate each cast member and each storyline. And what I hear from my friends a lot when they're watching is that it's a show that you really do care about each character and you really care about each storyline and you want to know what's going to happen next. So we feel that way when we're filming it too.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So have you always been a dancer?
No, I hadn't taken a dance class until I was a formal dance class until I was probably 18 years old and I was a freshman in college. So what I always tell people is that it's never too late to start dancing, which I think is also a theme of The Big Leap, right? It's never too late to try something new or to go after what you want. And when I was in college, I really had to take a lot of ballet and tap and jazz. So it wasn't until college that I started dancing.
Oh, cool. So has any of the choreography been difficult to learn?
Yeah, I think actually probably what was one of the harder things for me to learn, just because it doesn't come naturally to me, was at the beginning of episode 2, you see my twin sister Brittany and I were doing this kind of silly TikTok-esque dance to Everybody Dance Now. And that, for whatever reason, didn't come naturally to me, and that was pretty challenging. And then in episode 6, the dance that I have with Justin was difficult to learn just because it was a much more technical ballet dance. Do you have a favorite dance sequence in the show so far?
I don't know. I like them all.
Good answer.
It's hard to choose.
I agree. They've all been so great, right?
Yeah. So one of my favorite episodes so far was with the one where Simon helps with the homecoming proposal. And so I was wondering, are you like a grand jester person like Simon?
You know, I've never organized a flash mob that resulted with me wearing wings and feathers. So I'm not a grand gesture guy in that way. But I'll have to ask my boyfriend and get back to you and see what he says. Because I think that I'm a grand gesture kind of guy, but maybe not a flash mob kind of guy. I'll leave that to Simon.
Yeah. So what song do you put on when you want to have a dance party?
That's a great. Oh, okay. My best friend and I, whenever we're feeling down or whenever we're at an event and this song comes on, September by Earth, Wind and Fire. It's just like it's a fun kind of 70s-esque song that we just go crazy for, and that always just puts me in a good mood. But also probably maybe some Lizzo these days.
Yeah.
Besides Spring Awakening, do you have a song, something that kind of makes you jump up and dance?
There are a couple. I think definitely, like, really anything by Tyler Posey I love. So I think any of his music. And yeah, I've recently been listening to Jeremy Shada's debut album, and a couple other albums, but there's a song on it called Singing in the Rain that I love.
Oh, I gotta check it out.
Yeah, it's so good.
Good to know.
Yeah, I have to listen to that Earth, Wind, and Fire song because I think I've heard it before, but I don't actually remember. So
yeah, it's called September. So check it out. It always puts me in a good mood. I don't know why, but there you go.
Cool. Yeah. So what is the most useless piece of trivia that you know?
The most useless piece of trivia.
Yeah.
Huh. I would guess that it would be something about Broadway, but I don't know. Maybe that the biggest Broadway house is the Gershwin Theater. That's pretty useless, right?
I did not know that.
Well, there you go. That's where Wicked is. But that's probably. I mean, maybe someone would think that's interesting, but
yeah.
What about you?
Oh, okay, yeah. Now I can't think of anything, but it's like I don't know. I don't know if it. I mean, it's kind of useless, but I know a bunch of stuff about pop culture that it never comes up in conversation, so I always have to make it come up. So, and my mom always jokes that she always tells me I just fill her brain with stuff that she shouldn't know, that I don't leave any room for things that she should know.
Well, listen, maybe one day it's going to come in handy. So she'll thank you then.
Yeah. 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 Also, when I get like obsessed with the song, I have it on all the time. And so then my mom gets it stuck in her head. And then she's singing it all the time. And so then she's like, "Oh, curse you, Maya." Yeah. So is there a show that you're currently obsessed with?
A TV show that I'm watching that I'm currently obsessed with. Over the pandemic, I became re-obsessed with Survivor. I love Survivor. I'm a sucker for Survivor. Also, because our castmate Piper Perabo is going to be on this new season, I love the show Yellowstone. So those are kind of my obsession these days. I like Succession. I do need something though that's a little bit lighter and a bit more comedic. So if you have something besides The Big Leap that you could recommend, let me know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I actually do have some things. So, like on HBO Max, there's a show called The Other Two.
Oh, I love The Other Two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me too.
I've watched all of The Other Two, and I also, good reminder, I like Hacks. The show Hacks, I think, is great too.
Oh, cool. I haven't seen that show. My mom has though, and she really likes it. So
that's a good suggestion because that's great.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Yeah, but I've actually been like at night, I've been going back and rewatching the All of One Day at a Time on Netflix because I love that show. So that one is really good too.
All right, I'll check it out.
Yeah. So, is there a show, movie, or book that had a big impact on you?
It's definitely West Side Story, I would say, is probably the musical that had the biggest impact on me because it was the one that really did make me want to become an actor. In terms of a movie, I was just always obsessed with the Harry Potter movies. I know that that's probably a pretty basic answer, but I love Harry Potter. And a book that really had a big influence on me. Recently, I've read this book called Less, which is a book about self-identity, and I think that was something that was really impactful to me recently. And so, yeah, I think that it was just a really good examination of how about loving yourself. And so I'm always a big proponent for material that speaks to that.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So, well, before I ask my last question, I'm trying to think of another question I can ask you about Broadway, because like I said, I just became completely obsessed with it over quarantine. So,
well, if you can't remember, or if you can't think of something, you can always reach out and ask again if you can't think of something right now. So don't stress too hard.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, do you have a favorite song from West Side Story?
I got to sing it a couple of years ago with a symphony in Tokyo, actually. But Maria is, I think, just one of the most beautiful music theater love songs ever. I think it's just so romantic. So that's probably one of my favorite songs to sing. And then I also think that the Tonight Quintet is just such a cool piece, and how all of the different characters come together. I just think West Side Story is brilliant.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm very excited to see the remake when it comes out next month.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah. Oh, and here's a random fact. Rachel Zegler, I don't know if I'm saying her last name right. Okay. She is also going to be in the new Shazam movie.
Did not know that, but that's a random fact.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. Now I know.
Yeah. Yeah, Shazam is my favorite movie, so I can tell you, like, I don't know, I can just say random facts about it all day. So
Well, good. Well, I have to watch it. So once I watch it, I'm sure I'll have lots of random facts that I can spit right back at you.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, after you watch it, you'll have to call back in so we can just say random facts back and forth.
Got it.
My last question for you is, who do you consider to be a real life superhero and why?
Well, right now, I think that the real life superheroes are the people that are on the front lines, that are people that are putting their lives at risk every day, be it helping to fight the pandemic and keep us safe, people who work in the hospital systems. I think that you are a real life hero for doing what you do and staying so positive and talking to people like me. And I think that the average American can be a real life superhero if what they're doing is a source of good.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Of course.
I definitely agree about the frontline workers, and that, I mean, it's anyone, I think, can be like a real life, like you said, a real life superhero. And I think just, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. So
I agree, absolutely.
okay, well, I really don't want to say goodbye because I love talking to you. So
And we love talking to you too, and we have so appreciated all the time you spent with us today, Adam. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It was so nice to meet you both.
You too. Thank you so much for calling in.
Of course. Take care, Maya. Bye, guys.
You too.
Bye, Adam.
Bye.
Thanks.